Hey everybody, it's Fat Man from the Holler. I want to show you guys a little bit of gardening on what I do. As you can see right here, here's some lettuce seeds I had from last year. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dump these bad boys out in my hand. Or actually just sprinkle them in there because it's going to work a lot better being in that container. You just kind of move it around here and there. Because it's a little difficult being in the bag from last year, growing my own seeds. Then I have a few seeds that I bought from a very good company. They're a little expensive, but they're called seeds and such. So usually what I try to do when I'm growing lettuce, as you see, different kinds, what I'll do is I'll let it grow full term to where I can end up initially having my own seeds. Some of my seeds are a little harder to seed than these other ones. You kind of just sprinkle them in there, a little bit like so. I can dump them in my hand here and there, and I just spread them out. And then what I do is I just kind of work the dirt around them. And sometimes I put whole container of seeds in there, because you never know, especially on some of the stringer type plants. The more you put in there, it ain't gonna matter a whole lot, because they'll merge. A lot of people don't think about that when they're planting stuff. I mean, I kind of have a typical green thumb, how to get that old piece of moss up there. But here's what I'll do. I'll get it going just like this right here. Work it around a little bit. Once I know everything is typically buried pretty well, then what I'll do, I usually have a little makeshift pan here or there. It might have a little debris here and there in it. Ain't gonna matter a whole lot. And I tend to get it pretty moist because I like to get all my, depending on what I'm growing, it needs to be moist. And I got my little makeshift greenhouse that I'm working in, since we're over here in Missouri, and the weather in the last 3 days is pretty typically very windy, you see. It's kind of troubling and a little bit traumatic of wanting to get a whole lot done. But there's one done. And then what I want to do, working on a little makeshift table I found in the trash. I'm fixing to work on the next one, which is right here. And what this one is, and this next little batch of stuff I'm going to plant, is I'm going to try my hand at something new I've never tried to grow from seedling, is actually strawberry. And I'll do a follow-up video. And by the way, this is the first time actually using my 4K camera, because I used to have a clock-in job and such, and never had a whole lot of time to do it as being the errand boy of a corporation, which it ain't the greatest of times, I don't guess. And all these little strawberry seeds are quite small as themselves as well. I'm probably believe going to put a few more in there and sprinkle them around here and there, and then work that dirt, make sure all good and buried. And I mean, it ain't all scientific, and it ain't like them people you see on them big bad videos where they got all these fancy little greenhouses and all these little goofy methods. I mean, I've had a green thumb since I was about 6 years old. I grew just about everything there is, so I don't have much of a problem in that. A lot of that stuff, just gotta make sure your soil is wet. I prefer in springtime my soil being good and wet, and then preferably have your drainage holes and such, so everything can kind of absorb into its own, do its own little thing. As you can see, that one's done. And then what we're going to do is move the strawberries over. We got the lettuce planted, and I'll save some of the seeds. Sometimes I'm a little over wasteful, I've noticed over the years. And then we'll dig through the next batch of seeds. There's some of the seeds from seeds and such I bought. And then I got some, we're going to try something else too, because I do like kale a little bit. We'll try to break out one of these old seed packets of kale today and see what's going on. I know different people like different stuff and prefer me. A lot of people say, oh, why you grow all that leafy stuff? You could be growing more important things and such. Well, I'm the one growing it. I'm probably going to be the one eating it or giving it away. So other people's ideas of what I do doesn't quite register at me. I really I don't emphasize on other people. Bad thing this time of year, maple trees, dropping them. Now I do not want maple seeds in my plants. See, they're all over, little propellers from maple trees. I got leaves and what have you in there. They ain't gonna be that big a deal because a lot of that leaves anyway, just compost. If you buy mulch, you buy Miracle-Gro, all they do is they mulch leaves, grass clippings and sticks. And they make soil by grading it up and making increments of it. It's kind of like making loamy soil for like the succulents, the cactuses, and the sand, red clay, mulch, and different things. But anyway, here, as you can see right here, here's the kale seeds, and they're pretty small. You can see them there in my hand. A little hard, difficult to see, I'm sure, but there they are. And I'm going to try to take two hands, kind of sprinkle these guys around in there a little bit. And I really don't usually grow kale, so I'm probably going to use all the seeds because there ain't a whole lot of seeds in there to begin with. So, that said, I just do what I did before. And here's what I do. Somebody put a cigarette butt in there. How nice. Not very nice. But anyway, that's why I keep my plants. Because people try to throw stuff in my pots. They come by, not real respectful sometimes, but it's usually the people I don't want to come by anyway. So there's that. So the kale's it's on its way. And then we'll get her all good and wet. And some people say, oh, you use too much water. Well, I'm in a greenhouse. I mean, it's pretty much got an entire roof on it. So here's the deal. It's not like we're going to have an issue with getting the sun and getting it warm in here, because it usually typically stays warm in here even in the wintertime when it's quite cold. I got everything kind of floating in there, which is a little rough in its own, but that's all right as well. And then we'll start on the next one. Here's another. I usually use different pots for growing different kinds of things, as you can see. I think what the next one's going to do is, what I want to do here is I want to add a little bit of Miracle-Gro potting soil mix for starting seedlings. We're going to dump that in there. I like to usually keep that dirt in my pots, primarily pretty close to the top. Not completely full so the soil ain't run over and you're losing soil. And at the bottom of my plants, usually I'll put like a fiber mash of sorts, just to hold the soil in, so as the plant drains, you're not losing a lot of soil. Because if you have a lot of money, it kind of don't tend to matter. But if you're like me and you do everything makeshift, you kind of have to do what you got to do in different ways of figuring out how to utilize a little bit of nothing, turn into something. So that said, when you don't have a lot of money, this is what I do. I can do it pretty simple without a whole lot of anything. And I know government's like, don't collect rainwater. They say don't do this, don't do that. Well, here's the deal. We trust you this far, and we got COVID and wars going on and money going to Ukraine and all kinds of mentally ill things that just are unfathomable stupidity. Where we got money going out, we ain't helping veterans or homeless or children or drug infested hells. But here's some microgreens. This is something I usually never grow as well, but I'll sprinkle some of that in there, quite a little bit of it, see what we got. Might put it all in there. Some of this stuff I never really grow. I know a lot of that stuff's going to come out stringy, and it's not going to break my heart to use some of the seeds just as an experiment. Some stuff I've never grown, and I just learned as by going, kind of like lavender last year. Didn't know much about lavender in itself, so when I was planting old lavender, didn't realize lavender tends to grow on top of the soil, which means is you really need to try to have plant like little incubators like Miracle-Gro or this one or that one. And what you do is you get the lavender on top of the soil, and then you make it moderately wet, and then put a lid on top where an incubate. Try to keep the humidity at a pretty moderate level. because lavender's kind of temperamental. It's kind of like growing cactuses. I was growing cactuses and I spent quite a bit of money. I spent probably close to $10 on cactus seeds and they wasn't doing a whole lot. So I got a little angry about it. And I realized, and I was looking and seeing something. I was looking in like a pot just like this and I seen something green. I said, what is that? It's a piece of cactus and I still have it. It's been growing for over a year now in potting mix. It's not no loamy soil or special cactus soil, but it's about, I don't know, it's about maybe 1/4 inch. But anyway, I'm going to end this video right now, and then I'm going to work. I'm using a tripod. This is all new to me, and it's kind of like the first time I'm doing all this, so bear with me, because usually I'm using my phone, so it's a little bit different. But you can see what I got going on here. There's my plants, and I mean, if you're experienced at growing plants, you'll notice what plants are. And as you can see, this is my old hillbilly makeshift greenhouse, and there's some spider plants I got going on in here. And you can see the roof. It's just a lot of windows. You can see one of the windows cracked on me, which ain't very good. And I got an open spot right there where I usually have a rain barrel to collect rain for my plants. And I've been just building this sucker out of not a whole lot of nothing. And I just mean it's pretty good size. It's enough to work with, so it's not nothing to complain about. Just a little bit of time and labor. I mean, thank you guys and every one of you for watching my videos as always. I'm going to end this video, and if you like the video, like and subscribe. And I mean, this may not be your typical way of gardening, but I've been doing the same thing for quite a good long while, probably majority of my life, and I have pretty good results. So there's different ways to do everything. Anyway, much love. If you like the video, like and subscribe, and I'm out.